Okay, so let's talk about a crop that basically breaks every single rule of modern agriculture. I'm not talking about something we lost to a disaster. I'm talking about a crop that we, as a society, pretty much intentionally erased. We're opening the case file on the sunchoke. And this quote, it just nails it. This whole story isn't really about farming. It's about a fundamental conflict, a battle between a plant that's built for resilience and an economic system that's built for, well, total control. So get this, it can yield way more food per acre than potatoes. And once you plant it, it replants itself forever. So the big question is, why is this thing a weird specialty item at the farmer's market and not a staple in every single grocery store? That's the mystery we're going to dig into today. All right, so to figure out why it got forgotten, we first have to look at its incredible history. This thing has been on a wild journey around the globe, starting as a revered staple and ending up as, well, a food of desperation. Just look at this timeline. It's a story of survival. For centuries, it was a crucial food for indigenous tribes like the Algonquin. Then, fast forward to 1605, Samuel de Champlain brings it over to a starving Europe. 200 years after that, it's Sacagea, using stored sunchokes to literally save the Lewis and Clark expedition. And by the time we get to the World Wars, it was a lifeline for millions of people during blockades. You see, this isn't just some vegetable, it's a survivor. But here's where the story takes a really tragic turn. For the generations that survived World War II eating sunchokes day in and day out, well, that plant didn't represent life. It represented the worst years of their lives. So the very vegetable that saved millions became a symbol of suffering. And because of that trauma, entire cultures just turned their backs on it. So that cultural baggage, that's one part of the story. But the other part, it was purely economic. The sunchoke was just a terrible fit for the new industrial food system we were building. A system where another root vegetable, the potato, was a much, much better fit. Okay, let's put on our investor hats for a second. From an industrial point of view, the sunchoke is a total nightmare. The tubers are all different shapes and sizes, which makes them really hard to harvest with machines. They spoil pretty fast. And here's the real kicker. From a business perspective, they spread all by themselves. Farmers don't need to buy new seed every year. The potato, though, the potato is the perfect industrial commodity. It's uniform, it stores for months, and you can control it. The system just wasn't built for a renegade plant like the sunchoke. But this is the part that's just wild. Look at the numbers. An acre of sunchokes can produce 64,000 pounds of food. Potatoes? Only 53,000. And the sunchoke often does it with less water and fewer fertilizers. So if you're just looking at pure productivity, the sunchoke wins, hands down. The problem was never its ability to grow. So let's be clear, the sunchoke wasn't a failed crop, not at all. It was just incompatible with a system, an economic system built for uniformity, patents, and control. The system chose its winner, and it didn't pick the most productive plant. It picked the most profitable one. But, the story doesn't end there. Because beyond all that yield, the sunchoke has this hidden secret, a secret superpower that modern science is only now really starting to appreciate. And that is the power of something called inulin. Think about this. By weight, a sunchoke can be 50 to 60% inulin. That's a massive number. It makes it one of the richest natural sources of this stuff on the entire planet. It's incredible. So what is inulin anyway? Well, simply put, it's a prebiotic fiber. And you should think of it less as food for you and more as a 5-star meal for the trillions of good bacteria living in your gut. It actually passes through your stomach undigested and makes its way down to your colon, which is where the real magic begins. It's a direct pathway to better gut health. So you eat the sunchoke, the inulin travels down to your colon. There, all those beneficial bacteria go to town, they have a feast. And as they break it down, they produce these things called short-chain fatty acids. And these are the compounds that really improve your gut health, help block bad guys, and can even give your immune system a serious boost. And it doesn't even stop with inulin. The sunchoke has more potassium than a banana. It's packed with iron and B vitamins. And because its energy is stored as inulin instead of starch, it doesn't spike your blood sugar. It's actually a documented food for diabetics. I mean, this thing is a nutritional powerhouse. Okay, so this brings us to our final verdict. The very things that made the sunchoke bad for the industrial system, its wildness, its refusal to be controlled, those are the exact same things that make it so incredibly valuable today.
Just think about it. You've got two completely different models for creating abundance. The industrial model is all about control. You have to buy seeds every year, you need chemical inputs, you have patentable genetics. The sunchoke, on the other hand, represents a model of pure resilience. It's a perennial, it thrives in bad soil with no help, and you can't patent it. You see the difference? One system creates dependence, the other creates true food freedom.
This really changes how you look at the whole thing, right? Invasive, it's just the word we use for things that manage to succeed without our permission. The sunchoke's tendency to spread isn't a flaw at all. It's a feature. It's a sign of a tough, successful organism that doesn't need us to hold its hand. And let's be real, we live in an age of growing climate instability. We're seeing more droughts, more floods, totally unpredictable weather. In a world like that, a plant's ability to thrive in chaos, that's not a bug. That is the main feature. The sunchoke was practically born for this kind of world. It's perfectly built for the extremes that are becoming our new normal. So you see, the knowledge of how to use this amazing plant isn't really lost. It's just underground. It's waiting there, in forgotten gardens, and in the memory of the soil itself. And the real question for us, in a world that needs resilience now more than ever, is, are we finally ready to start digging?